My name is Nick. I'm the underboss of the Baker gang. I've been married to my beloved wife for 8 years. My wife seems to have a condition that prevents her from having children, and she has cried and apologized to me, blaming herself for our inability to have kids. But after 8 years, it seems she finally came to terms with the idea that it's okay to be happy without children, and recently she stopped mentioning it. So, I tried not to worry about it either, but I realized I might have been wrong about that when my wife brought home another man. When I came home from work, I saw the two of them cuddled up on the living room sofa. "Emily, who is this guy?" I asked as calmly as possible, but my wife mocked me with a laugh. "Who? He's my boyfriend." "Boyfriend? What do you mean? You're married, aren't you?" "I know that." There were several empty beer cans scattered on the table, and I could glimpse her white chest through her half-open blouse. "Hey, fix your clothes." "Oh, come on." My distracted wife just laughed softly, still mocking me. "What are you doing here?" "What am I doing?" "Obviously, having fun with your wife. Get out. If you want someone to leave, you should be the one to go." I like this woman. It surely looked like a scene of infidelity, but neither of them seemed panicked. If this was really an affair, they'd be rushing to escape, or my wife would try to explain the situation. Instead, they seemed defiant. "So having fun means you were cheating?" "It's not cheating, man. I'm serious about her." "Yeah, I'm serious too. You're just a boring corporate geezer." "Are you serious?" "I prefer someone wildlife him. A man's got to be strong." "You're implying I'm weak." "Yes, you're weak. Just a plain office worker. Totally uninteresting." I never thought my wife would cheat, nor did I realize she despised my being earnest. She's a girl from an ordinary family. That's why I, a gangster, pretended to be an office worker, to not reveal my true identity. If she knew I was a gangster, it would only worry her. That was my reasoning. No kids, and a husband who's a gangster. There's nothing good about that. But it turns out, my wife is attracted to strong men. What a situation. "Hey, Emily, get a grip." "I am fine. I'm just tired of being with you. We can have kids, and a life just as a couple is so uninspiring. I'd rather be with Anthony than continue this boring life." "Anthony? Yeah, he's the underboss of the Johnson gang. Don't you think he's cool? An underboss of a gang. The underboss of the Johnson gang. That's right. I'm the underboss of the Johnson gang. How about that? Scared now? Now that you know I'm a gangster, you can't go against me." Anthony laughed at that, but I knew it wouldn't work on me. "Just because you're a gangster doesn't scare me. This is my house. Please leave." "Shut up. I'm still in the middle of having fun with your wife. So no, I can't just leave. This is my house." "So what? You're just an office worker. Even if you make a scary face, it doesn't really affect me." "Yeah, you never get angry. Seriously, you're boring. You forgive me no matter what I do. That makes me doubt whether you really love me. Why don't you have an affair too? Then we'd be even." "Emily, what you're saying doesn't make sense. I just want to have fun. It's not fun at all with you. That's what I don't like it. I just can't stand it anymore. You don't even know if this guy is really the underboss of the Johnson gang, and you're falling for whatever he's saying." "Huh? You're saying I'm not the real underboss?" "Yeah, you're not the real deal, are you? A real one wouldn't do something like this." "Why wouldn't I be real? What would a corporate loser like you know about the gangster life?" "Yeah, you've always been just an office worker. What do you know?" "Emily, I'll pretend I didn't see what happened today. So sober up. Pretend you didn't see it. I sight clearly, and that's fine. I'll continue to see him from now on." "Continue? How long have you been doing this with him?" "Just today. We met at the casino and hit it off." "You went to the casino? What? Is it wrong to go to the casino? Should I just stay home alone all the time when we don't even have kids? I don't want to live such a boring life. I want to live freely. From now on, I will." "Hey, what have you been telling Emily? She wasn't like this." "That's what you think. She's always been like this." "Yeah, I just pretended to be serious for you. I always wanted to let loose, but I gave up because we were married. But meeting Anthony changed my feelings. I remembered that I love being free." "Enough. Remember you're married. I'll forget what happened today." "You're so annoying. You just want to keep her for yourself. You're taking away her freedom. She should have fun with different men. That will broaden her horizons. How can you say such nonsense? Breaking into someone's home and destroying their family. Stop it. I'm not destroying anything. If this destroys it, it was already fragile. That's why it breaks. That's not it. Emily, come back to your senses. Don't do this anymore. No. Let me go. I can't stand your seriousness anymore. To hell with being serious. We can have kids. You look at me coldly. While talking about marriage, you're actually mocking me. I can't stand you. What are you talking about? When have I ever looked at you that way? I told you, it doesn't matter that we can have kids. Having you is enough for me. No one else, just you. Lies. You really wanted kids. You look enviously at other children when we walk together, saying how cute they are. Can't you forgive that much? No. If you love kids so much, why don't you remarry someone who can have them? I'm going to remarry this guy. He doesn't want kids. Perfect for me. Yeah, she's mine now. Leave before my gan outside beats you up. Don't joke. There's no one out there. They're hiding. Don't want to cause a scene in the neighborhood. I'm that considerate. That's right. His gan is waiting for him. Shows how big a deal he is. Do you really believe that? Of course. I didn't know such a strong man existed. Today's the happiest day. You are. What? You're just upset that she's taken. That's just how small men are. No need to be so worked up. That's right. That's why I'm going to be with Anthony from now on. You're done. Out of the picture. Are you serious? Of course. It must be hard, but it's inevitable. Your wife likes strong men, and you, a weak office drone, can't keep her. I see. Give up, huh? Looks like I need to get serious. Serious? Even if you do, what can a regular guy do? Don't make me laugh. A regular guy? Not quite. I loosened my tie and unbuttoned my shirt. I always kept every button done up, maintaining a serious image, but it was just too confining. I had always thought that being such a person in front of my wife was for her sake, a way of expressing my love. But it turns out that effort was in vain. If that's how it is, then I might as well show my true self. My true self? That's laughable. You're just pretending to be something you're not. Well, if we're both in the same line of work, there's no need for pretenses, right? What are you talking about? No matter how much you pretend, you're just a regular guy. You can't beat me. Think what you want, but you're not getting away with taking my wife just like that. Interesting thing to say. You're a fool if you let her be taken away. If you can't hold on to her, she'll eventually fly away. That's your fault. Right. So boring. Being serious all the time. Coming home to drink a little, then off to the study. Never paying attention to me. Who would be satisfied with such a boring life? Is that not what you wanted? I never wanted that. I just wanted more fun. But you never did anything. You don't drink in the middle of the day like Anthony. How is that fun? So that's what you liked. If you had told me, I could have shown you my real self earlier. What real self? A regular person is just boring. Enough already. Yeah, enough. Get out. Emily, if I said I was a gangster's underboss, would you come back to me? What? That's impossible. If someone like you was a gangster's underboss, that group would collapse quickly. You, a gangster's underboss. A wimp like you couldn't be a gangster. Talking big, but it sounds like a lie. If you were going to lie, you should have said you were a delinquent or something. That might have been more believable. I wouldn't believe you anyway. Why? Why won't you believe me? Because, all this time with you, there was nothing gangster-like about you. Just an ordinary office worker. The proof is the monthly salary of about $6,000 deposited into your account. If you were a gangster's underboss, your salary wouldn't be that low. Sorry, but maybe try a more plausible lie. A lie. That's right. The idea of you being a gangster is just unthinkable. Forget it. Maybe you're lying for your wife's sake, but wildness isn't something you can fake. You have to be a real gangster, like me. The two of them were having a great time making a fool of me. Even saying that an office worker trying to act tough is just embarrassing. My wife completely believed that I was genuinely an office worker and didn't doubt it at all. Hey, if you're saying you're a gangster, then what organization? Can an office worker like you even name one? Don't say something like Section 1, Year 2, okay. That would be so like you. Perfect for someone like him. My wife laughed out loud, leaning on the man. I had thought she would only lean on me. What a situation. I'm from the Baker gang. When I glared, the man seemed to believe me and started to get scared. Seriously. No way. Can you make such a look if it's a lie? His eyes always look fierce. People with bad eyesight often look sharp. Probably he's just not wearing contacts. Oh, I see. Just trying to scare me. Are you really that scared? Well, yeah, the Baker gang is a major organization. If they set their sights on you, the Johnson gang doesn't stand a chance. It's that powerful an organization. Yay, that's why I got a little scared just hearing the name. Come on, getting scared over just that. But when I entered this house and saw the Baker nameplate, I really started to wonder. Having the same surname is common. It seems the Johnson gang is real, then. I thought you were lying about being in the Johnson gang. What? Who's lying? You. Saying you're the underboss, but you're not, are you? What are you talking about? This man really is the underboss of the Johnson gang. That's why his black crew always follows him, lurking in the shadows. Emily, you're really naive. A real underboss wouldn't have such a crowd following him. At most, 1 or 2 close aides. If you walk around with a gang, it just invites trouble and limits your freedom. Really? Yay, that's why they're hiding. Interesting. That's new to me. But you know, I know the real underboss of the Johnson gang. We go way back. And you still claim to be him. No way. And if you got scared seeing Baker on the nameplate, you might have lived longer if you hadn't laid a hand on my wife. Really? Are you truly the underboss of the Baker gang? That's what I'm saying. I am the underboss of the Baker gang. Seriously. Man, that's bad. No, it's a lie. It can't be true. This man being a gangster. Absolutely impossible. Well, if you don't believe it, that's fine. Just wait here. I'm going to call the Johnson gang's underboss right now. No, I just remembered I have an urgent errand. What's wrong? No need to panic like that. It's obviously a lie. But Anthony is the underboss of the Johnson gang. There's no need to be scared. Besides, he doesn't have such friends. I, his wife, know that best. If he had such friends, he would have brought them over before. He doesn't know any gangsters, so there's nothing to worry about. Is that so? Yes. Just look at him. He's clearly not a gangster. Anthony, being a bit of a coward. As the underboss, he should be more confident. Even if someone comes, it'll just be a friend pretending to be a gangster. Yeah, right. Of course, that's it. Someone like him couldn't possibly know any gangsters. The man laughed awkwardly, but it was clear he was quite scared. He was desperately trying to keep up appearances, hoping that the Johnson gang's underboss wouldn't really show up. But I ignored such a man and actually made a call. And without even needing to explain the situation, just by saying I needed them, they agreed to come right over. They'll be here soon. As I smirked confidently, my wife retorted with a triumphant tone. See, I told you. Just a word and they won't come. He only pretended to call to scare you off. That's the kind of sneaky tricks he plays. I see. You really understand him well. I know everything about him. Surely, even if we wait an hour, no one will show up. My wife's words, mocking me, only deepened the man's sense of relief. But he was utterly unaware that this reassurance was all based on falsehoods. Shortly thereafter, the sound of a car pulling up outside was heard. When I answered the door, there stood Johnson from the Johnson gang. Hey, sorry for summoning you like this. When you asked me to come, I figure it must be important. I had to drop everything and come. Thanks, I really appreciate it. I invited Johnson into the living room. At that moment, Anthony was about to take a sip of his beer. So, here's the deal. I came home to find this guy in the middle of an affair with my wife, and he claims to be the underboss of the Johnson gang. Upon hearing my explanation, Anthony, who had been frozen, suddenly pushed my wife aside and knelt formally on the floor. That's Anthony, right? This guy is a top guy in the Johnson gang. No way. He's the lowest of the low in the Johnson gang. Never moves up because he can't learn anything, no matter how much you teach him. He's a real problem child. So he's been posing as the underboss. Underboss, my foot. Wait, what? What's going on? Who is this guy? My wife was the only one unable to grasp the situation, looking puzzled at Johnson, Anthony, and me. This man is the real underboss of the Johnson gang. So Anthony is just a low-ranking member. You were deceived. That's terrible. But why would the underboss of the Johnson gang? That's what I've been saying. He's my buddy. So, does that mean Nick really is the underboss of the Baker gang? Wait, your wife didn't know about you, Mr. Baker. Well, I thought she'd be scared or worried if she knew I was a gangster. So, I've always passed off as an office worker, but apparently, she found that boring. So she got cozy with a low-ranker like Anthony. No, she thought he was me. She believed a wild gangster was cooler, and that's how things ended up. That's a pity, ma'am. The underboss of the Baker gang is a bigger deal than that of the Johnson gang. Plus, your husband here is so tough. They say just his presence can make dead bodies pile up. No way. He's always been so meek. That's because he's really strong. The truly strong can afford to seem weak. Ever heard the saying, the weaker the dog, the louder it barks? It's the opposite for the truly strong. Only those who aren't strong can't pretend to be weak. So, my husband is. That's right, the fearsome underboss of the Baker gang. Really? Well, now that the wife understands, what should we do with this guy? Boss, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I never meant to lie about being the underboss. It's just that she said if I was a gangster, I must be something like that, so I got carried away. So what? You still lied about being me. That's a fact. Yes, but I only said I was the underboss to seem more impressive. Please, forgive me. Claiming to be the underboss, you barged into a woman's house, dragging my name through the mud. You knew I'm not the kind of man to do such things. And especially not touching another man's wife. Something I'd never do. True, I got carried away. The woman came onto me. Hey, don't mess around. You were the one who approached me. You started with wanting to do nice things. You're the one who came along with it, saying we could have a good time until your husband got home from work. Don't make it sound like I'm the only bad guy here. If you hadn't approached me, if you hadn't lied about being an underboss, I never would have gone along with it. How dare you lie like that? It's your own fault for falling for a lie like that. Shut up. Don't make such a pathetic scene. Both are at fault. The one who initiated is wrong, but so is the one who went along with it. There's no excuse for that. Yeah, I can forgive it either. Most of all, messing with the wife of a friend and only thinking about saving your own skin. That's what I can stand. Johnson said this and kicked the man in the chest. The man arched back from the blow, enduring it, somehow managing not to fall over. Pretty tough, huh? Got some guts. But what you did isn't something that can be settled so easily. He then started throwing punch after punch at the man. My wife stood by, trembling with fear, her face distorted in terror, thinking he might be sent to the next world. Anthony started begging desperately for his life. Please, I'm truly sorry. I'll do anything. Just forgive me. I swear I'll never claim to be your underboss again. Please forgive me. Even as he was being beaten, the man kept begging for his life, a pitiful sight. My wife, witnessing this, said in disgust, "What a weak man. I had no idea he was this weak. Absolutely pathetic. Please, boss. I'll do anything. Just forgive me. I'll never impersonate your name again." As the man's face turned red and swelled, even Johnson stopped throwing punches. "So, you'll do anything, huh?" "Yes, I'll do anything. If you're begging that much, I'll let you off the hook. Thank you so much. But it's not going to be that easy to forgive you. Then, will it be your life, or will you settle it with money? Choose one." By life, you mean something like being dumped in the ocean. Just dumping you in wouldn't be valuable. I'll get a life insurance policy on you. You can live for a while, but once the payout is due, you'll be living in fear, wondering when you'll be offed. That might be interesting. Boss, that's really something. So, money then. Either way, it's the same to me. Both are fine. If it's money, how much are we talking? $2 million for impersonating me and another $2 million for messing with Mrs. Baker. That's $4 million in total. 4 million. I can't pay that in a lifetime. Not my problem. If you can't pay, you'll have to borrow it. Even if I wanted to borrow, where would I find someone to lend me that much? Well, there are lenders who can provide immediate cash. Immediate cash for that much. So then, I just work to pay it back, right? That's right. So what's it going to be? Get a life insurance policy and wait for your end, or borrow 4 million and pay up immediately. I'll borrow and pay right away. All right then. I'll introduce you to a lender. Jess, please, I beg you. Anthony pleaded. Johnson took out his smartphone and made a call. Shortly after, a car pulled up outside the house, and the doorbell rang again. This time, a man in his 60s with graying hair appeared, accompanied by 2 assistants. He introduced himself as Mr. Smith, a representative of Blue Dragon Finance. Once inside the living room, Mr. Smith looked at Anthony, whose face was beach red from the beating. Well, you've been dealt with quite severely, haven't you? How much do you need? $4 million. $2 million to Johnson's account, and the other $2 million to Baker's account. Understood. We'll process the transfer immediately. Mr. Smith gave his smartphone to one assistant to make the transfer and handed a tablet to the other, who then placed it in front of Anthony to sign. What's this? This is the loan agreement. It states that we are lending you $4 million with an immediate 1-to-1 interest rate. It also details that we will provide the means for you to make repayments, and escaping from this obligation is not permitted. Means for repayment. What I'm doing now won't do. What you're currently involved in, I'm not sure, but can such trivial dealings repay $4 million? Especially with such high interest. An illegitimate business would find it impossible to repay. So what will I be doing? We have arranged for you to work on a crab fishing boat. A crab fishing boat? Yes, you will be going to the Bering Sea to catch crabs. It's quite a cold job, but you'll get used to it. The hardest part is usually seasickness, but that should pass soon enough. The Bering Sea. I've never been there. Yes, I've never been there either. But think of it as getting paid to go on an international trip. Quite lucky, don't you think? Well, more of an ocean voyage, I suppose. And the most important thing, don't fall overboard. That's something we cannot afford. If it happens, all we can do is let you sink. If you want to return alive, make sure not to fall into the sea. Such a thing. As Anthony was being taken away by Mr. Smith's assistants, Emily suddenly clung to me. So you really were a gangster. I never thought you were so strong. I'm falling for you all over again. You'll forget about today, right? You do love me, don't you? I looked at my wife. Her face was something I had never seen before, something hideous. I released her hand and turned to Mr. Smith. Please take this woman to a brothel. What? Why? Why would you send me there? If you want an exciting life so much, go satisfy yourself with men there. No. You said you'd forgive me, didn't you? It was a mistake. Help me. Sorry, but I've changed my mind. No, I don't want to go there. Please, you said we could pretend this never happened. It was a mistake. Help me. No, we're getting a divorce. What? In the end, you're just a small, petty man. Where is your strength? You're just a coward. Emily spat venomous words until the very end as Mr. Smith took her away. To be honest, I could have forgiven her. Part of me even wanted to keep her by my side. But seeing her true nature in that moment, I realized she was beyond redemption. Hey, Nick, that's your beloved wife, right? Are you sure about this? As much as I wanted to keep her by my side, when I saw her true face, I realized how corrupted she had become. Hey, Nick, she's your beloved wife, isn't she? Are you okay with this? Yeah, she was my beloved wife. It's hard, sure. I would have liked to keep her with me if possible. But she's no longer the person I once knew. It's just how it has to be. Saying this, I watched my wife being taken away, cursing venomously, and bid farewell to her.